About vacating, there's no street there. There hasn't been for,
What are you talking about, the property that's?
you're talking about vacating this little portion here, about Mount Hank's new house that they built and that.
Yeah.
That street don't pull through.
No, it doesn't.
It wouldn't be the first wrong thing we found.
No, I understand that. I just wondered how old it was, because I don't, you know.
Well, I talked to Peg about that one time in the assessor's office, because we had found some other lot things that weren't correct, and, they have a different kind of system. Sounds very complex to me that they use to update that. I don't remember what she called
Last
it.
updated 7/6/2019 on that.
But she said when that GIS workshop initially came in and started, they used their old, paper records, obviously,
Yeah.
to input everything.
And I was actually on a street today that I'd never been on before.
The other one.
That South Wilson Street, it's just kind of a trail through there.
Yeah.
So the proposed is that where that creek comes down through there?
All right, 5 o'clock, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. As always, open meeting back is posted in the back northwest corner if you need us to read it. Let's go ahead and do a roll call.
Greg?
Here.
Brad?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
And I received notification that Skylar would not be here today.
All right, rise and do pledge allegiance.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Any item listed on this agenda will be open for discussion, consideration, and/or action by the Amesbury City Council that's on the agenda today. Consent agenda, all items approved with the passage of one motion. Approved minutes from June 5th, 2019 regular meeting. Approval of claims, treasurer report, and department head reports. Any item listed on the consent agenda made by the request of any single council member be considered as a separate item under the regular agenda section of the agenda.
I didn't get the claims. I don't think that did.
I didn't get a copy of the claims.
Should be in the drive.
They're not in the agenda packet, or the July packet.
I'm sorry, I will have to check and see if it's on my computer and it's a technical thing, or if I didn't get it copied in there. Posted in your packet media?
If I did, I don't remember seeing, I don't know.
I don't.
That's not one I typically go in and look at, so, or print off.
I saw something in there, but I didn't know if I never paid much attention to it, if it was last month or current. Is what I was-
That's not one I typically print, so.
It's going to be convoluted process to upload in the Google Drive. Sorry about that.
Is there any other questions besides anything that we got to look at for claims by anybody? Anything on the treasury report? Anything else? Council members? Nothing besides the claims?
I guess just speaking of the treasurer's report, we received the emeritus bond payment yesterday morning. So that's all finalized and we have the funds in the account.
So it can replenish the general.
Correct. It's a lot of paperwork for that, $200,000.
200,000 is what the initial one was.
Yeah. 1.8% interest.
That all went back to the sewer fund.
Correct. That worked out pretty well. I was actually in Omaha on Friday, so I stopped in there and visited with them, kind of got it together. So.
Can we keep them for general, because we have to review them, so.
Yeah. So you
I'll
want to
make
go
a
ahead and make.
recommendation to approve consent agenda, except for the
Excluding
claims
claims.
until we can review them.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. First, by Greg to approve everything except for the claims at this time. And second by Brad. Roll call.
Brad?
Yes.
Deb?
Aye.
Craig?
Yes.
All right. There's no mayor's report at this time. Also, wanting to reappoint on the Committee of Housing for a 3-year term, Jason Nelson, with term ending of April 8th, 2022. There's a motion to approve or deny that from council.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Jason Nelson to the Committee of Housing for a 3-year term ending 4/8/2022.
Second?
I'll second it.
Sorry. Second. Roll call?
Deb?
Yes.
Craig? Brad?
Yes.
Hey, quickly, what's that committee do, or do they meet very often? I'm not
They only-
familiar on that one.
They only meet as needed, and that committee reviews our owner-occupied rehab
Oh,
funds
okay.
program, it was a
Yep.
CDBG grant.
Yep, gotcha.
No time, at this time, there's no public hearings, no old business. On to the regular agenda. Item A, Sandals Care Center Budget Report. Phil's here, Chairman of the Ainsworth Brown County Interlocal Board, DDA Sandals Care Center. Phil, got
Okay, did you guys get a copy of that to look at? I'll just go to the summary page. I mean, the detailed part of it is there for you to review if you have any questions. We've looked it over pretty carefully. And the part that we do feel most comfortable about is the expenses. We do have a handle on that pretty well. The income side of it is the big variable depending upon the number of people that we have in the nursing home. It makes a huge swing one way or the other depending on what the number is. And presently we're at 25, and with one in hospice, so I don't know how long that person will last. But the way I put the budget together was starting at the present resident population of 25 and going down to 20 and maintaining it in 20 after that point. I feel comfortable with those numbers, but that's the one big variable in this whole budget. If we run more than that, it's going to be better. Each resident adds about approximately $6,000 a month in income. Our expenses are pretty well fixed, whether we have 15 or we have 25. That number or that dollar expenses all stays about the same. Once we get above 25, then we may have to add some additional nursing staff, but otherwise, our expenses are pretty well set regardless of the number of residents we have. So based on those assumptions in our expenses and income, it looks like by year end we would run about 230,000. We have about 77 in receivables, that leaves us short about 53,000. So at the present time, we would like to ask that you consider budgeting the normal 80,000 that we have, but we're only gonna request 40. If our resident population would happen to drop below 20 after the first of the year, we may have to come back and ask for the additional 40, but I'm not really anticipating that, but I just rather have you have it in your budget and be prepared than not. But that's up to you. I'm just stating that I think based on our budget, we feel that if we can get 40 from the county and 40 from the city, that we should be able to meet our budget and without additional funding. Do you have any questions?
Phil, refresh my memory, what's your guys, how many residents can you guys take? What's your license?
40, 42 or 43, 44, something like that.
46 for licensed beds, but I don't know if you can hold that many, right?
Yeah, that would be the question, because some of those spaces aren't necessarily ready to be occupied by two persons. That'd be two persons in each room.
So how many, do you have any idea how many you can put on?
Comfortably, we could be at 35.
Okay.
Yeah. And before Deseret closed, they were in the mid-30s.
Okay.
And we've struggled, well, you know our struggles. I've been back several times, going back for funding and that kind of thing, but I'm hoping we're kind of over the hump. I know that we're going to have some residents drop off in July, August, September, just whether or not we pick up a few more to offset those, I don't know.
Account fluctuates so quickly.
It can. One time we had a population of 22, and within 2 weeks we were down to 18. And so it changed that quickly.
Let's see, at 25 and working good.
Yeah, if we can continue in the 23 to 25 range, you know, our needs, we'll have excess reserves again next year, and we'll ask for even less if we can continue that. But I don't want to count on that just because I've been burned already thinking that they were going to get it to 20 or 21 or 22, and we haven't.
It's definitely a guessing game. I'm sure it's hard to work on a budget, stuff like that.
Well, again, their expenses are set, regardless whether we have 15 or we have 25. Those expenses are going to be the same. But the difference between 15 and 25, 10 residents at $6,000 and $60,000 a month, you can see where that can change in a hurry.
So you say your expenses are going to be the same.
Yep, we have to pay those regardless. And so, and that's where we ran into problems this last year, where we were short of that Medicaid funding. We were at 39.7% and had to be at 40% in order to qualify, and that short of this at 70,000 that we were needed last spring.
I hear you had another nurse come in from other countries, all right?
Yeah, we have an international nurse, and that person is working out really well. She's really well liked. She does a very good job, very personable. Residents really like her.
Good.
We're at present time, we're still got one LPN and 2 or 3, what are those?
CNAs.
Yeah, CNAs that we're using from the nursing pool. We're still could get those. If we get those locally, that would save us some additional funds. But we've dropped that considerably from where it has been. But that again fluctuates because there seems to be a huge demand for nurses aides. So anyway, that's kind of our request. I feel good that I think that we can get by with 40 this year. And if our resident population stays stronger than the 20, we'll probably even need less next year. So, again, there's no action to be taken on it, just presenting it to you so that you have it available to work into your budget for next year.
Any more questions, comments? Thank you, Phil, for the report.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for your support.
All Discuss and consider the recommendation by the Ainsworth Betterment Committee regarding a request from the Ainsworth Municipal Golf Course for Independence Day fireworks in the amount of $3,000.
The ABC committee met last night. So essentially, the request from the golf course was $3,000, but the invoice that came in was $3,500 on the claims list to Kapow. 3517. The golf course brought in $2,022 in donations. So actually, the only amount that they need from ABC is $1,495. So basically, the ABC committee had recommended that whatever the difference was from the donations, that they would recommend up to $3,000. So when we calculated that, I visited with Kate Gracie this morning then, and he confirmed it was $2,022. So then the difference is the $1,495. So that would be the actual request from ABC funds.
$1,495.
$1,495.
The application we have here was not signed.
Because when I received it, ABC hadn't met yet. I have the signed form in my office now from Dr. Evans.
What was their recommendation?
They recommended approving up to $3,000 depending on what Kate came in with the balance of their donations. So Kate gave me that number this morning, which is $2,022. So the total bill from Kapow was $3,517. So the difference is $1,495.
That seems considerably less as far as overall costs, I think, than it's been in the past. If I'm
Yeah, I
not
was thinking
mistaken,
like around,
usually
around five to six.
I think they might have given, if I remember right, they might have given it to, sold them a cost on that. I don't know for sure, but that 3,500 seems like, I know they always tried to raise about 5,000, but
I know
to
last
cover
year,
it, so.
it was, I looked to compare, it was 3,700 last year, so it's pretty close to last year. But they're using a different vendor.
Yeah.
And the new vendor's been cutting a pretty good deal.
They used the same ones last year.
Yeah, well, this year and last year, it was a different vendor.
Past, I think they're going to Butte, there's about 20 places you can get them, the commercial ones, going up to Butte to get them. They were getting expensive.
So we're only approving a request of $1,495 basically, correct?
Correct, and that would be the difference of what they had in donations.
And you said you do have a signed application
I
from
do,
ABC
yeah.
on that, okay?
It's just because the ABC met late yesterday.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the $1,495 for the fireworks.
First by Brad, second?
Second.
Great. Roll call.
Craig?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Deb?
Aye.
Three will pass. Item C, discuss and consider the possibility of vacating a portion of city right-of-way on the west side of the intersection of South Wilson Street and West Dawes Street.
So this is a request by Don and Janet Skyler, they're here. And I'll let you guys, I guess, if you want to speak to what your proposal is.
We just want to purchase it because, sentimental reasons. As growing up as a kid, I've always lived in the same house. And all the way over to the next street used to be in our family. And I just kind of, sentimental reasons would like to have, and nothing's been done since the 70s. They were going to put a road in, I think. They started in the 70s, they put the new culvert in, and they quit. And it's just been sitting back there. We have a property where the creek runs through, and in order for us to get over there to work on the back side of the property, because we cleaned up we just came back the last 3 years, and, you know, pretty filled up with trees, and so he's gone in and cleaned that and the 2 lots across the street from us. And we need to get in there to, you know, have access back there.
We were told that, do you have exactly the width of that street? Is it 80 foot?
I didn't look at the plat,
Oh.
so no, I guess I don't know for sure what that
The width of
distance
the
is.
street, yeah. We were then under the impression that it was 80 foot wide. That's true.
Okay, I called the assessor's office. They don't keep that information in their office, or at least not for the purposes of the GIS workshop, so we have to pull the plat to know the distance.
It's hard for this map to really tell what we're talking about.
Sure.
And
I've got a picture.
that'd be helpful. And
Let me show you. Yeah.
I'm kind of familiar with that area, but just for what
Yeah.
you want to get.
Okay, this is the area I'm talking about. We own here on,
That's what I'm saying.
and then we have these two over here. And then this is where they were going to put the road in. Years ago, but they built, used to be yeah. And there was never any houses or anything back here. And I think at one time they were going to put the road through because they thought the houses were going to be built back here. And they just haven't, so there's nothing.
So it's actually wider than a road through there. I mean,
Yeah, they got, on this, they show 80 foot.
It's from city to.
We went
Yeah.
down a lot, just to make sure and everything. And this is what we're, like, this is where it goes right through.
So this is north going this way, right?
No. This would be, this is South Wilson, so.
North going this way.
Yeah. No. This is south, so north would be that way. Yeah, the railroad tracks is here and then you go. So that's what we're talking about, just that little, and no one, this is all grown up, and no one uses it, the road to access this. We have a couple times to go back there to look at the property.
Subdivided over here in the box.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Is there a fire hydrant?
Yep.
Yeah, Donnie said that there's a fire hydrant. I
Right
think
on
right
that.
around in here.
What property did we just?
The one to the
It's-
south,
yeah,
This one right here.
west.
The big one.
Okay.
You're talking about Prue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a picture in my mind of what we're talking about.
So you want like a part of this? No, we would like to have all of it.
Square off here, square off there, right?
This is our house.
Is there any infrastructure on it now?
There's not any city infrastructure there.
No.
But the one
There
thing,
isn't.
I guess the one consideration that I would have for the council just in discussing it is that, under our comprehensive plan, if the city were ever in future development to, add another housing area, residential area, all of our water sewer mains are piped down South Street, so that in annexation-wise, you've got the most capability in that area. And the only through streets you have to that area would be South Street, Second Street, and then the highway, 4th Street to Ulrich. So if you ever did want to do like a planned unit development or a housing development area, 20, 30 years down the road, you would potentially want to connect Dawes Street to have another through street. That would be my only consideration.
Well, if we sell that parcel, then what are we gonna do with the balance of it to the west? Because it basically gridlocks us if we do sell that piece. There is no expansion.
Well, I think you just end up wanting to probably sell the whole thing.
Everything to the south, you end up having this south, all the everything to the south. The city owns everything to the south, right?
No,
We sold that
To the west. We just, this
northwest
this
of,
strip between the orange lines,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the,
okay, who owns that? We don't own that from the south end?
no,
Okay,
I think this is Christie Fruit.
oh, okay, yeah, all right, you're right.
to the north is what we,
Yeah.
This is what we just
Just
sold
sold,
over
right.
Christie.
Well, that was platted at one time then, wasn't it? West of that?
Here, this?
Yes.
I'm sure.
If it's platted, then it's a dedicated, in the plat, they dedicate what is streets and alleys, the people that own it, to the public. So, does that connect to this piece then, or not, the platted street?
go straight east and west.
Well, this is Dawes Street here,
Yeah.
and this is Dawes Street. So this portion would be if you ever wanted to connect Dawes Street to itself. If you wanted to make that a through street, because then it would go all the way to Ulrich. Right now, the only through street you have is South Street, and then Second on the highway going to Ulrich anyway, which would be the farthest western north-south street on the city's jurisdiction.
So do you have the GIS? Is that what you have? I was gonna say, there's a map that shows.
You wanna look at it?
Mhm.
Bruce?
Brad?
There, we brought that bacon over there, and that might show you a little better.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much got my bearings now. And
Oh, okay.
on this, on what we had here, this looks like it was a bigger area
So, yeah.
to me, so.
They said they thought we could culvert there, but.
Yeah, it's been prepped.
The only culvert there is where they came down Dawes Street, and they were going to put the road through in the 70s. They put a culvert in, and that's all they've done.
Right.
Do you have an idea what the square footage of that parcel, ballpark?
Now, because, I mean, should the city decide to move forward, I mean, we would have to get the plat. And that would have to be advertised, would it not, as a real estate, Rob?
Mhm.
Would have to be advertised for sale as a real estate, just like we did on the prior parcel.
Could I say something? I was under the impression that if that, of course, if nothing's gonna be done making the street there, and the city was considering the option of selling it, that we would have first priority as far as purchasing that. No,
No,
we were misinformed then.
because it's city-owned, I mean, it'd be similar to like the windmill, remember?
Oh, yeah,
That's-
okay, I got you.
You know, I mean, because it's city-owned, it's,
Yeah.
everybody owns it, so we have
Yeah.
to open it up for bid to everybody.
All right. Well, we would, we would be, we would like to be notified at that point if that be the case.
Absolutely.
How are those drawn up, Rod? It was your family, it was in
Yeah.
your families before the city acquired it for
Yeah.
right of way?
How did they acquire it? Do you remember? Did they condemn
Well,
it? Or did you sell it to them?
For where our house is and the house where Sally Davis lives, that used to be all Smith land to where the creek is. And then on the corner, I don't know what the street that is,
First would be.
First Street. My grandma and grandpa had that, and they were Kaisers. He was a blacksmith, and he had a blacksmith shop. And I am not for sure if they had the property over to the side or not, but I do know that grandma and grandpa, he had a blacksmith shop back there, and I don't remember if they owned that or what, but I know the Smiths had it, I think at least to the creek. So,
You've seen that before, sometimes if they're working with a property owner on acquiring right of way, they draw it
And
up
then-
in there to say that
when
if we
grandpa
don't
had,
end up using it, then it reverts back or whatever it might, but you'd have to go find however that was originally done.
Yeah, it might be on the original plat too.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they, where that road is. I'm
Well,
pretty sure it was the
plat of
Smiths.
this out of the courthouse. somewhere.
Any other questions or comments by city council? Does anybody want to make a motion to table this, or what do you, city council want to do with this?
Myself, as of right now, I guess I'd entertain a motion that the city retains ownership of that for, until we get better informed on it.
Think you want to see the plat, Brad? Or what do you think about better informed?
Maybe to see how it was originally, like Rod said, maybe the original plat would have more information.
I do have hesitation on, yeah, I know we haven't, nothing's been done since, for 40, 50 years on it. But, there could be at times the possibility of running that street straight through, and if we give up ownership on it, then we've got a portion there that is dead. I mean, we still own a portion of that to the west of that, and we almost put a roadblock in between West Dawes and West Dawes. We put a roadblock in there that we can't get back. We get rid of it. And that'd be my only concern is doing that to the city. Maybe this council may not want it, but 15, 20 years from now, they might call us some names and say, hey, why did you get rid of that? And so right now I have a problem trying to put a roadblock in there.
So what's your motion?
Motion is
Retain it?
to retain it.
I'll second.
First by Brad, second Greg, retain property. Roll call.
Brad?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Greg?
3-0.
Well, we want to thank you for your time then.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, if that would change, we want to make sure that
Okay.
we research that so you guys would
Yeah,
have.
that's all, yeah, that's sort of main concern that has to come about, we'd like to know.
Sure.
Do we want to go
Okay.
ahead and research that and get back to them with that plat, or what do we want to do, anything further action on that?
I think leave it up to them to research that and maybe bring it back to us if they can find out more information on, maybe go to the courthouse and see how that was all, how it all transpired over the years.
Yeah.
okay,
If you would, maybe that might change my mind or something like that on
Okay.
something like that.
Well, we've been up to the plat office, and good luck.
I know. It's gonna take some time and research.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Greg.
All right, item D, discuss and consider vacating a portion of North Elm Street of approximately 150 feet southeast of 7th Street. It's gonna be the property in between the Wilkins and Arns residence.
Correct, so this is that little stub dead-end street, and I can only presume that it, the intention of that would be to have maybe intersected North Elm with East 7th Avenue. But then that house was built there that, I think Tom Arns lives there currently.
That's
so-
yours built the house?
Yeah, there's really no way to connect that street anymore. And I know that the property owners that live on either side of that rightfully complain occasionally that it's weedy and, we don't always do the best job of taking care like to, they kind of use it for parking of their vehicles and different things. So, I guess, you know, we had it on our 1 and 6 year plan for a number of years when I first started. And the prior mayor and I had visited about, you know, why do we have that on our 1 year plan? You know, to put millings and oil that and whatever for really no use of the city. So that's why I've just finally got around to it.
So this isn't by request of the property owners, this is by the city?
This is my recommendation
Okay.
to the city council, rather than invest maintenance cost on this step street that.
So do these property owners know about this, or they?
Not potentially yet, unless they wanted kind of buy-in from the council, that you agreed that this was a good idea. And there is a process laid out in ordinance to vacate that, where we would give, notice through certified mail to all of the adjoining property owners. And that way they can,
Who would retain ownership of that? Who would get it?
If it's 3 properties or 2 properties, we'll split it either half or thirds.
half and half, correct, Ron?
Is that right?
But like we said before, if it's, do we put that out for bids where it's city property?
Vacating is different than,
This isn't selling it, we're just saying we're not going to control it anymore, own it.
What if something gets hurt on that? Who owns it for liability purposes in the future?
When you vacate a street, it goes to the adjoining or abutting property owners. Now, how you do that, whether there's 3 of them, I'm not sure, because
I'm sure,
if
you know,
there's one on each side, you do it down the middle, but if you got one at the end and one on each side, there's gonna have to be an enforcement of that.
Well,
Tom, he's
looking at
got
that
a
map,
fence there,
the backside one wouldn't be involved, right?
He's got a fence there, but I don't know if there's an access.
the street superintendent thought potentially, and if you guys are in agreement moving forward, we'll gain more of this information, but he thought from an aerial photo, it appeared as though perhaps there was some access point from that step street onto that.
I went by it, there's a
North
fence
side.
there. I don't think they access it anymore.
there's a pretty solid white fence
Pretty tall,
there.
pretty tall fence.
Are there any utilities under it or in that area?
Well,
or-
here's the other thing. When you vacate a street, the city can retain ownership. It's just no longer a street. Or you can vacate it and the abutting property owners then become owners of it. And the city can always retain easement rights for utilities, water, sewer, electric, whatever. And normally you always do that. You always retain an easement for the city. The question is, does the city want to retain ownership after they vacate it? Or do they want to let the adjoining property owners own it? They get it free gratis.
Right, we don't collect any revenue payment from.
We don't get anything.
But then it goes back on the tax roll.
It should go
too,
back on the tax roll.
which is positive for the city.
So if we retain ownership, we would still be responsible for maintaining.
I was gonna say,
Unless you lease it, you could lease it to the adjoining property owners also.
right now, where we own it, and they're parking on it, and somebody gets hurt there, could that draw us into liability in some way?
If we're negligent, if the city is.
If they fell down in a hole or whatever.
Or ice on there, and something we didn't clear it off on ice and stuff, and they.
Possibly.
So liability wise, we'd be better off vacating and not owning it.
That's any street though.
Yeah.
So if you fall down on any street, you can
Right.
come after the city.
Sure, but hopefully we're maintaining those better than what that one. That one's,
This one is a good one.
That one's gonna be tough to maintain over the years, just because people park on it, but they parked on there and to get cleared off.
Yes, we live in one of those too, and we just, between us.
They think I use it as a private parking lot for their vehicles and play items.
Anybody have a motion on that or more
Well,
discussion?
I guess, I'm not ready to, making a motion, but yeah, go ahead and proceed forward on the possibility of, taking that street out of the city's ownership.
Okay. what that will consist of is we will prepare a letter and mail that to the 3 property owners that are adjacent. And then Rob would prepare an ordinance, which would probably be proposed in the August meeting.
Yeah, there's another alternative. The owners could all sign waivers and consents to this action by the city.
But it still requires passage and adoption.
You'd
of
still have to do an ordinance, but at least then it's presumed that they received notice and they have no objection.
And looking at that map, will there be 3 owners? The property owner on the south.
If he's got no thoroughfare through there, there's no reason.
Well, he touches it.
It's still in June.
Okay.
Everything touches it.
Okay.
He just has the fence between his house and that.
I don't think he uses it. He used to.
So we're just gonna go
Used to
ahead
be
and
that
press
way.
on with getting in contact with those individuals and maybe possibly vote about that at the next meeting, city council meeting, is that what
Sure.
we're going?
Yeah.
Are you guys okay with that?
With that?
Pressing forward with that?
Yeah.
Getting ahold of the individuals and possibly voting on the next city council meeting? What we're gonna do. Okay. All right. Item E.
Do you want to do this now?
Oh, has everybody seen the claims? You want to go through that now, or do you want more time to go?
Greg had a good question, so I'll just point it out to all the council members. Couple of items on here that are recurrent bills that we pay every month. Kern County Treasurer would be one. Kibera Solid Waste Committee, 3 River, Chris Molnhofer. It's showing double payments on this claims report, and I'll explain why that is. We're not really paying in advance or anything of that nature. It's, we run claims twice a month. That's something we've done for quite a while because the bills come in at different times. We have certain bills that by the time you receive it, you have a pretty short time window to pay it, and charge late fees and et cetera, et cetera. So basically, when we prepare claims for the council meeting, it's everything we have up until the council meeting. And then usually we have a second batch that things that have come in since the council meeting that are still due at the end of the month. So we usually pay a second batch. Well, that second batch shows up then on the next month's claims report for approval, to make sure that the city council approves every bill that we do pay. So what you're seeing is basically you're approving us to pay tomorrow one of these amounts for the month of July, and then you're approving the amount that we paid at the end of June for June, if that makes sense. It's a paid and scheduled report.
So is those amounts already into that, bottom, into that total figure though, right?
Right, so then on the very last page, excuse me, not the last page, second to last page, very bottom, there's a, with stars, it says paid total,
Yeah.
and then below that, it's means scheduled, means we haven't actually cut the check yet. Anybody have any questions on?
I'll make a motion to approve claims. Or we need more time.
I'll make a motion to approve claims.
First by Deb, second.
I'll second.
Second Brad, roll call.
Deb?
Yes.
Greg?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Three of those. No, you're fine. You're good. Yep. Item E, discuss and consider the renewal of a law enforcement agreement with Brown County Sheriff's Office. Bruce Reedy. Thanks for being here.
We, our negotiating committee met, under our contract, we have a negotiating committee that at the end of each contract period, the committee gets together and discusses the new terms of the new contract, et cetera. That negotiating committee consists of the president of the city council, the mayor, myself, the sheriff, and the county commissioner, representative for law enforcement. And so that committee has met. We did discuss quite a number of things. I understand the county attorney is on vacation, and so that draft agreement for the committee to consider hasn't been completed yet. So basically, what we're looking for tonight anyway is the current contract expired July 1. So obviously, we still want law enforcement services up until we have a renewed contract to be approved by the city council. And so I guess the recommendation for tonight is Bruce and I have talked about it, and to just continue to honor the terms of the current agreement until our new agreement is completed.
Yeah, because we're operating without a contract right now. So, that's probably what we need to do, I think.
You said Andy will be back next week.
Yeah, next Tuesday he gets back.
So hopefully he can get a draft together, and then maybe the committee can meet again.
I think he's due back Monday, and he's busy all day, is my understanding, and he's probably back Tuesday to be out, do some work.
And to be continued, but in the interim, I think it would be a good idea if the council could make a motion to that effect, so that we've got something formalized in the interim.
Questions by council? Any questions, concerns?
With your new drafting, you're not seeing, probably seeing much in the way of changes from current agreement, are you, or?
Potentially.
Potentially, okay.
Question for you guys.
Mhm.
You guys have talked about this before on our meeting. We had the city ordinance of 643. I think that was a number that you had, Reagan.
Sure, but I didn't bring that.
Well, it's
Okay.
that one you had.
You got it right?
Yeah, I got it here.
Okay.
My question of those 643
I'll
ordinances,
just give my page.
do you have a breakdown of what that was that we could look at?
I don't have that now.
Well, I mean, so we can look at it.
I can get that.
Yeah.
I can get that,
Okay.
yeah. I can have her go back through it again.
Okay, I mean, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
figure out what the 643 ordinances were that you guys were
Well-
voting on behalf of the city.
Those are not all ordinances.
123 ordinances.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and then
Yeah,
520 were
yes.
other citations.
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, the 520, I'm not on that, I'd be more on what the ordinances of 123, what those would be. Would be more of the 123s.
And then do you have a 2019-20 budget? either?
No, I do not. No, we're not due for a while yet, so.
You guys don't have to have your budget stuff until what, October?
Yeah, we finalized it, I think, September, right?
September.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's gonna depend,
Their
the
budget?
budget's gonna depend on your decision, large part.
Your budget year runs July 1 to June 30th, but by statute,
Yes.
you have till
That's right,
October.
that's right. Mhm.
Crazy.
Crazy,
Yeah.
yes.
Renegotiate a contract prior to knowing what potential expenses we
Yeah.
may be.
Yeah. Well, I think by the time we did make a decision here, we'll have a pretty good idea that, I mean, it'll be, I would assume, I don't think this is gonna take a long time, I would think. So, it's not gonna be a problem on my end, anyway.
Brad, do you have any more comments or questions?
No, I think we just have to wait for the committee to
Okay.
give us some advice.
So you want to entertain a motion then to continue the contract with an local agreement with the Brown County Sheriff's Office?
And make the monthly payment or whatever.
Make it
Continue to
present
honor
rate
the current.
with what we
Yeah.
have.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll make that motion that we continue on until we're able to get a contract with Brown County with law enforcement at the current rate.
So Andy's got it pretty well written up, I believe. I talked to him, he made some changes and stuff like that. and it won't take long to get that put together. Everyone see it.
You get a second?
Second.
Great. Roll call?
Craig?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Agree on that. All right.
Thank you for
Thank
stopping
you,
in.
fellas. You bet. You can stay right now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Item F, City Administrator, Clerk, and Treasurer report.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Something before we get here. No, you guys are good. I know
No, it's not mine.
we have no old business, but several months ago, we decided that a couple months before we do budget, we should probably put out bids for city attorney and audit firms. So do you think we should do that, just see what we get, if we get interest or not, before we budget?
Actually, Lisa and I did visit about that, what other entities do as far as the county. We didn't discuss that already. Give something's looking at for next month, so we're just looking at.
Okay, so you're gonna put out bids?
We did talk about on the accounting side, yes.
Okay.
Because we're still not completed with last year's, correct?
Correct. Well, I mean, that has been filed.
But I mean, as far as the finalization of it, it's,
This one.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, budget is in full swing. I like to start that in June, that process, and that way we've got time to kind of acquire things, and the department heads are thinking about it. We don't get our valuations from the county assessor until August 20th, so the budget workshops won't happen until after that time, so that we have the numbers, but our offices are already working on getting numbers and trying to prepare and get everything going. FEMA, we've been continually working on FEMA with our project coordinator. He is working on grouping our projects at the moment, so hopefully we'll have something back on that and have some direction to move forward. Of course, in the meantime, the street department has been working to do some patching and trying to fill holes and alleys and other streets, kind of the ones they can get to that. We've got some AMZ oil, they're working to heat that now, so they'll probably tackle some of the bigger holes, I would think in the next week or two, providing the weather stays hot.
Lisa, with your FEMA, with the stuff you're doing with FEMA, are you anticipating then like kind of going out for some major, not necessarily full block, but some kind of, more structural work that the city crews themselves probably aren't able to handle? Is that kind of what you're working with FEMA? Is that the idea on some of these?
Kind of the idea. Some of it we can do ourselves, obviously, but like the Harrington, Third and Oak, I think probably that will be a contract type job. So those are things that, yes, we're working with our project coordinator on how we're going to go about grouping those and what that might look like. Of course, then once we get those groupings, the next logical step would be to bid and that sort of thing. So anyway, slowly moving forward. Went to a couple of conferences. They were very good. Finance conference is kind of an every year thing. This is the first time I've been to the City Managers Association conference. It was good as well. A lot of good information. We talked about law enforcement. The solar project, basically the RFP has been completed by PPD. And they have put out the RFP. We will, when they have results back, that will come before the council for you guys to review and decide if you want to move forward with that project. MFO's good to go based off of our amended agreement. We got all the paperwork filed. I already told you about the Emeritus bond money. We got the new shop plan, so we've contacted all the prior bidders and the we'll have, I think actually in this week's paper, the ad for bids grant. Our street sweeper quit us, so we'll be advertising for that shortly.
The individual
The person.
doing it.
Okay.
The person, I think, some life changes, just.
That's too bad, because he's done a good job.
I think he wants to spend time with his family.
Can't take weed diapers instead.
Yeah. So, anyway, otherwise, we're just kind of pedaling forward with all of our projects.
Jeremiah, I do have a question. Sir. I didn't get put in old business because I didn't see the agenda 24 hours in advance because I was gone. But anyway, we had discussed the alley behind Ranchland.
Right.
ESU movie theater.
Right.
Has there been a determination, because those business owners have contacted me this week,
More and more rain.
Joe, he said this is the most rain he's had in his basement so far. Who owns the alley? Who's responsible to fix it?
City all the way from building to building.
All from property ownership line. I assume the property, probably the building's on the line, there's no setbacks there.
That's what I would imagine too.
But, I looked at the pole down there too, and it's in the alley. And I think it's the city's property.
I did go to the assessor's office after I stopped by and talked to you. They were saying, we need to get an exact thing. You need to give us some out there measure from the store front or property front to the back to where they need to check. But yeah, that's where it looks like to me that it's city's property.
Has anybody looked at it to see what it needs to, whoever owns it, what
we-
needs to be done to fix it?
The day Brad and Monty and I were down there, and Tom and Dick, like those guys said, we don't specialize in that. You need to get somebody that specializes in footings, foundations, some type of cement people, and do it properly, and then move forward. That was their recommendation that day, and I would agree. We just can't continue to wait though, because, like I said,
Right.
they've been patient, because that was back on June 4th when Tom was doing that work. That was the day that we were down there and looked at that, it was on June 4th.
Joe sent me a text,
Yeah.
just lately too, you got
Yeah.
the same thing, yeah.
We probably need to get estimates or bids from
As soon as
contractors.
possible.
So from what I understand, you basically have a void underneath that alley.
Well, from what the plumber told me is when the pole was put in, the utility pole for electrical, way back when, they hit the sewer down below. They hit that sewer, which back then it was, it wasn't cement, I can't remember what they called it.
Red tile.
Yeah, the red tile, and when they hit that, they broke that open. And so it's been running down through underneath the alley for some time. Well, there was a area as wide as a table, probably about 2.5 foot deep, all the way along these buildings. It's just washed out. And of course, now when they opened that back up to fix the sewer at the movie theater, that exposed that, and that rain ran back down in there, and that's why it's going down in the buildings now.
Well, the rain's been running off the backside of that forever, and any
Right.
kind of crack or whatnot, it's
Right.
just making it.
But
water
that
flow
was
through there.
what their thought was. No, that's just their opinion, and that's it.
But it looked like to me there's been an inordinate amount of rain pulled along the buildings. There were cracks, where the water could get right down underneath the pavement of the alley. And it's probably following the line of least resistance after it gets down there, and maybe going into the basements of the adjoining buildings is probably where she went.
My only concern with that when I went out and looked is if that's that case with that building, if it runs the whole length of Main Street, because all those buildings run off the same way to the back, into the alley, so. But that's, I mean, I don't, because we're not down and underneath there, so we don't know, so, but
Yeah,
that's
be
my
opened up
concern.
to find out.
Yeah, right, so this
Which
could
means you
be
have to
bigger.
tear out the alley, tear up the alley.
It could be.
Well,
first.
And that's what's happened, once they tore that, basically pavement out of there and opened that up, now the rain's going in much faster than it was before. Because as Jeremiah said, to run off the back building, it's going straight in instead of partially, yeah. So it's really compounded the problem.
In order to make sure, you probably should have a surveyor take a look at that and see where the lot lines are. To make absolutely sure that this is a city responsibility.
We need to get a hold of Lloyd, yeah.
Why Lloyd's here can come across.
I'm assuming that the buildings were right on the lot line.
Because it's just immediately alley right behind them.
Yeah, it's straight to, yeah.
The alley basically abuts the edge of the building.
I think.
Can you go away?
Well, I mean, just for driving it.
Yeah, exactly. There's no,
There's not a buffer or
no.
anything.
But where the line is
Property line.
That's true.
And if it happened to be 2 feet onto the city's property, you can make them move their building.
why not?
There'll be a lot of buildings.
Seems pretty easy fix.
So can we put maybe a rush order on that?
Yeah, I'll call Lloyd tomorrow and see when he can get here.
And we respond to Jeremiah or
I can, yeah, that's definitely. I'll need to talk to you afterwards to find out. Because I knew it came from Joe, and I know you saw it. There was somebody who was like, oh, you gotta burn that text. I don't know who it was. It was done. Okay.
Like rides and probably the theater building. That's what it looks like to me.
Lloyd's just gonna determine property lines. For some kind of fix, you're probably gonna have to get an engineer, and, is that what you're thinking? You're just, so with Lloyd, you're just talking determine property
Well,
lines?
making sure that it's the cities, because, yeah. And then I'm guessing he'll probably have some advice for us, who we're gonna go for, what to do, maybe, possibly. Okay.
Yeah, the quicker you can do that, I think the better off you be, because it is a good portion.
Yeah.
Is there anything else by city council?
I got just a quick question here. With the magnitude of this law enforcement contract and stuff and the dollars we're probably talking about, isn't that something that we should have maybe had back in April or May, so we could kind of absorb it, research it, discuss it?
I think we need to go to executive session after, soon here, review that and discuss it, yes, so everybody's on the same page.
Well, potentially that would have been ideal.
Yeah, well, that was, because I think everybody, I didn't know, because I'm new on the council, but everybody probably knew that it was gonna come due July 1st. So it probably should have maybe been voted on and discussed ahead of time, maybe in June, so we didn't have to wait until, go probably a week without a contract.
Well, it's happened in the past since
Yeah.
I've been here. I mean, technically, that's probably not that big of a deal. The issue is just more awareness.
Okay. Because like myself, I'd like to have some time to, to research a little bit and
Sure.
see.
Because, we gotta have law enforcement. So
Yeah.
even if your contract is expired, you're still gonna, it's in both parties' best interest to continue to honor the agreement, which is what we did here tonight, and so.
I'm not trying to point fingers or anything like that. I just wanted, for something, that kind of money, as.
Well, the
I need to
whole
research.
council needs information to absorb and review, yes.
Well, in years past, the increases were minimal, 2%. So, yeah,
That's why we need to discuss it.
ideally, yes, it would have been nice to have started discussing it earlier.
Well, it's a 3-year contract, so that's something to put out on that calendar, 3 years from now, to do it in that month. If we can do that too. It would help. So I'll make that motion to go into executive session to review. the
Okay,
contract.
hold on a second. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
All right, great.
Yeah, before, yesterday I got a message from the mayor, kind of wanting an update, or wanting an update provided to the council on North Central Development Center progress. And it's not on the agenda, but I thought I'd just give you a quick one. We met today. We've been moving through. We are interviewing applicants within the next couple of weeks. They're going to get scheduled. We received 7 applications for the position. Reviewed those and are scheduling interviews. There was an interview committee that was kind of put together. There'll be 4 of the board members on that. and then we'll handle the interviews, and then we've scheduled a special meeting for the final Wednesday of this month to present recommendations potentially to the full board. And the goal is to have somebody in place or hired by August 1st is kind of the goal. Now, we're cutting into it. It's going to depend on interview schedulability with the candidates that we're contacting. But we've got several we're going to interview and try to have a meeting with the full board again at the end of the month. Otherwise, we're meeting once a month, and we're trying to speed that up a little bit. So our goal is still to have a person in place by August 1st, and then be able to start honoring the contract we agreed to with the city. So that is our goal. We've been meeting with our other contributing partners, giving them updates, and along with that, we advertised for a couple weeks. We also utilized the applications that the city received. All three, I believe, that came from the city were contacted and were still interested. So they're a part of our interview process, and that's where we're at. So we're moving forward, and you know, our volunteer group's been trying to, we're trying to do what we can without a staff person as of now. So as you can imagine, we're not, we're just trying to get things done. The building, I believe, the sale on the building closes tomorrow, and we've secured office space for the person when they're hired. So the building on Main Street, it didn't make sense to, when we were going to one staff person to keep an entire building. So we've secured office space, and that building closes, like I said, I think tomorrow, with all the paperwork's done, so they're closing tomorrow on the sale. So that's.
And you do have place for?
Yep, we've secured office space. The board, of course, with office space, I withdrew myself from that part of it,
Right.
but the board last month went and toured John Gross's building and the KBRB building that had rental space available. And they, I just kind of excused myself from the meeting today when they discussed that, and they'll be moving into the KBRB building starting, whenever they get somebody in place. So that's where the new office will be.
Okay. Questions, comments from any of the council? Any concerns? Anything? No? Okay, and that's working on it. Yeah. I think we're good. So, anybody else have anything? Nothing at all? All right, Greg.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session, discuss contract.
1806.
I'll second it.
Second by Kevin. Thank you for everybody for coming tonight.
Did you have one cook out?
I do a roll call for, sorry about that, roll call, executive session.
You guys want this closed?
Please.
Brad?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
For you. I got 606, but whatever.
6:06.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, I gotta shut the camera off.